Hey there, Libra. Welcome to your Love Tarot reading for September 2022. This is a general love reading for Libras. However, cross-watchers are also welcome. Keep in mind that the roles of the individuals or energies identified in this reading may be swapped, and that the intensity of the situation or energies may vary. So take with you whatever resonates and leave behind for others whatever does not. And so far, just looking at the overview here, Libra, it's looking pretty darn good. So here in this first column, we look at your love vibrations. In this second column, we look at your connection to your body and senses in terms of sensual pleasures. In this third column, we look at your potential for romance, and in this last column, we get love advice from your higher self. And for those of you interested, I'll be closing off the reading with a message from your special someone. So let's take a look here. Libra, in terms of your love vibrations, the energy you're putting out there, receiving in terms of love, you have this fox, mischief, agility, cleverness. You also have the Emperor. You have the Four of Wands, and it says celebration over here. And you also have the High Priestess. So in terms of this fox here, it's a sense of, Libra, you're very smart. You are able to kind of pick out, you're able to kind of almost have an idea of how people operate, and you can kind of like sniff out if there is really something wrong, not just wrong, but you can sniff out if there is someone who is disingenuous, or someone who is not what you want. You're also someone who, if you don't want to be noticed, you won't be. It's almost as if it's giving me the idea if you were in a social environment and there's certain people that you want to kind of avoid, you are able to avoid them without it being noticeable. You can kind of sense things going on around you. And you can kind of like slip in and out of situations very easily. If you want to kind of be noticed, you happen to place yourself in a situation where you are noticed. And here it's kind of, it's almost like I'm seeing it as the fox is kind of sneaky, but not in a way where you are trying to get the upper hand of someone. So here with the Emperor, there is a sense of having power and control. And with the High Priestess, tapping into the your inner knowing and kind of being able to maneuver things. And so with this Four of Wands celebration, it seems like you may be involved with a lot of social interactions, parties, gatherings, formal, informal, maybe weddings, maybe just, you know, back to school events, end of summer events, whatever those are. So it's a sense where you're going to be able to enjoy yourself and just rely on that, or you're using that kind of intellect, your charm, your gracefulness to kind of, you know, manage things around you. So I think it's interesting here. I'm going to jump real quick to this connection with your body and senses. The fairy lily, it says mischief on here as well. So, you know, it's not necessarily all mischief is bad, but we'll see. We will see. Let's take a look at the Four of Wands in this celebration. You have the King of Swords here. So here you might want to kind of tap into that intellectual, you know, use of your brain, your mind, your ability to communicate. And I would say be aware of, you know, there is Mercury retrograde as of, I believe, September the 9th till October the 2nd. So just make sure that your communications are clear, that you communicate what you intend to communicate verbally. The things that are not verbal, you know, walking away, smiling, frowning, body language, things like that. It's almost like be aware of that as well, because there's, you know, opportunities for miscommunications during the retrograde period. And I would say also, we don't have like something come up for technology yet. Not that I see, but maybe also just, you know, double check your text messages, emails, things that are not like verbal face-to-face. So let's take a look at your Emperor here. You have the Two of Pentacles. So again, that kind of idea of like maneuvering. So if you are wanting to have that power of the Emperor, or if you're trying to attract, you know, someone who is powerful and someone who is kind of maybe traditional type of, got a traditional type of authority, I would say. It's as if you're kind of maneuvering that. So let's see about the High Priestess. You have the Six of Wands. So again, this tapping into that inner knowing so that you can really maneuver around these events, these social interactions where you are seen in a very favorable way. So here, let's jump into your connection to your body and senses with this fairy lily and the mischief sabotage. So you do have the Eight of Discs, Eight of Pentacles. It says dedication. You have the King of Cups, and it says control on this card. I usually think of the King of Cups as being more steady, managing their emotions, as opposed to control. I kind of see the King of Swords a little bit more as a controlling type of energy. And then you have the Six of Swords that has this word of transition here. So in terms of these fairy lilies, there is kind of a need to recognize when perhaps you are, because this is your connection with your body and your senses, if you are kind of fooling yourself, and making it seem that that there's like maybe habits that you have, ways that you are kind of dealing with your sense of value. You're still working on it. It's maybe in the past you have kind of set yourself up for failure, or felt that there were certain shortcomings that you had, that you made like almost like a bigger deal of it than need be. And to some degree, it might have to be with how others perceive you. Maybe someone from your past, maybe the way that they either complimented you or didn't compliment you. So it seems like it's like that might have maybe a hold on you a little bit. A sense of like a little bit of a trickster, where maybe you're allowing certain comments or have allowed certain comments to kind of impact how you connect with yourself, your body. So let's take a look at that King of Cups here. You have the Wheel of Fortune, a sense of like, ups and downs. So, for some of you, maybe this was more of a, like a parent figure. Maybe it's an ex that you would kind of have ups and downs with, or go back and forth with, in terms of on again, off again. You do have this Six of Swords card, which is a card of like, to some degree, moving on, escaping situations that you don't, that aren't serving your best and highest good. But it's the transition period. It's not necessarily one shore or the other. So let's take a look at that Six of Swords. You have the Eight of Swords here. So a sense of really feeling, maybe this is the concept of fooling yourself, of thinking that you don't really have the authority to, honor yourself, to feel certain sensual pleasures, to really, it's a sense of like the sense of sight is totally restricted here. So, and in terms of the sense of feel, you've got these bindings on here, hands tied behind your back. So you've got your sense of hearing, nothing, you're not tasting anything. Maybe you're smelling the like stagnant water that you're supposed to be standing in. But I'm going to pull actually one more card for this Wheel of Fortune, kind of indicate like, what is it impacting, or how does it show up in ups and downs. Got the Knight of Wands here. So a sense of like almost like where the focus was, where the attention was. If there was, if this is a parent figure or an ex, or even a current, significant other, someone who like sometimes maybe they complimented you, sometimes they didn't. Sometimes it's making me think of that word negging, where it's kind of backhanded compliments or kind of not like kind of insults to draw people in to kind of want a person's approval. So let's see about the eight of discs, Eight of Pentacles. You got the Knight of Swords here. So this is kind of giving me a sense of, trying to rush in and change things or fix things, or like trying to anticipate what you need to work on. And it might need to be just this thought process of kind of, you feeling that you have to kind of limit yourself, a sense of perhaps trying to do something other than just making yourself happy. It's almost a sense of trying to anticipate somebody's concerns or wants and making yourself be that way. But here, this is about the mind, the connection to the body and the senses. That's about you. That's about you and feeling and hearing and smelling and tasting and seeing with, through your own body, through your own perspective of things. So here, maybe use this kind of cleverness that you have, the smarts that you have to look at this situation. And when you find yourself in this Eight of Swords situation, feeling like you can't really do anything, maybe take a look at each sword and say, okay, what is it that I'm thinking I can't do? Why is it that I think I can't do that? Is that a real obstacle? Is that a real point of view? Is that one person's point of view on a Tuesday at 3 p.m.? And kind of see whether you can really come out from this kind of mental block of really enjoying who you are and what's around you. So here, in terms of your potential for romance, you have friendship, Libra. So it might be that, you are starting out as friends and it grows into something more, or it is either grows into something more with this person, or they introduce you to someone. You have the Eight of Wands, Hermit, the Ace of Wands, which is like a new spark, new energy. So this might be a new friend or a new kind of maybe someone you've already known, and there's more of a connection between you two, and a sense of, maybe to some degree needing to, I know wait is not a great word to hear, but kind of just allow things to happen, and it's all part of your journey. It's all part of learning experiences. Maybe there's something with this person, or you'll meet someone through them. So let's take a look at that Ace of Wands. You have the Nine of Wands here. And this is kind of a sense of being prepared for anything. Let's see about the Eight of Wands. Oh, you have a Three of Swords. Interesting. Okay. So it may be just needing to take some time. Maybe this other person that you're interested in or might be interested in you is kind of dealing with a recent kind of breakup, upset. Might not have to do with relationship, could be, moving to a new area, losing a roommate, having a roommate they don't like, who knows? But that's kind of the sense I'm getting about this, like this friendship is maybe, take things slowly and maybe learn about their paths a little bit. So with the Hermit, you get the Six of Swords. So to some degree, they might also be in this transition period, both learning something. In terms of love advice from your higher self, you have this Lovers card here. So it's kind of, love to the max, a sense of, in all forms, really loving yourself, loving your friends, loving, and it doesn't need to be up in your face, I tell you I love you all the time. It's just basically allowing that love to form in any small way that it can, and approaching everything from a sense of wanting, the best for yourself, wanting the best for those around you. And you have the Two of Cups, you have the Beginnings card or the Fool, and you have this Strength card here. And so with the Beginnings card, the Fool, it's a sense of, being vulnerable, not having expectations. You can see this person is nude, as is the person in the Two of Cups, as is the person in the Strength card. It's a sense of like really not having anything to hide, a sense of being vulnerable and embracing what comes your way. A sense of also almost a sense of making sure that you start with yourself. So let's take a look at this Beginnings card. You have the Strength card. So this really is a sense of recognizing what makes you strong, maybe even physically strong. Making sure that you are eating the right foods that give you, strength, energy, staying hydrated, staying away from certain things that really, make you cranky, make you upset, drain you of energy. And also, recognizing your different sides, your different characteristics, embracing all those things, and having like the courage to do, maybe do something different. Perhaps to look at yourself, your potential through, the eyes of your higher self, as opposed to the eyes of someone that you want to attain the approval of or affection of. So let's take a look at the Strength card then. You have the King of Wands. So here, both of these are fire-related cards. Maybe there is a Leo that you've been drawn to, someone who is very charismatic, someone who's attractive, who is athletic, and you're trying to build up your strength, even to go on, let's say, hikes together, or something that requires more physical activities. So it's a sense of really making sure that you are accepting all your strengths and your weaknesses, and to the extent you can, building up your weaknesses to be strengths, or showing attention to the things that have, aspects of yourself that have been ignored, pushed to the side, and show yourself a little attention. So let's take a look at the Two of Cups. You have this Tower here. It's almost a sense of this might happen suddenly, some kind of connection here. Or to some degree, for some of you, it's a sense of really making sure that you are showing yourself, respect and love and honesty, and allowing for a tower to kind of that may have been built up to kind of have divine intervention come in and knock it out. So I'm going to pull out one more card about this Tower. You have the Emperor. Interesting. So here it kind of, again, this concept of making sure you are starting with yourself, being in a good place for yourself. And now here's the card of control, as opposed to the King of Cups, typically, unless this is a King of Cups that is like manipulating, sabotaging. So to some degree, oh, and you started with this Emperor over here as well. So it's kind of seeming a sense of how you are looking at control, power, strength, and possibly thinking that your ability for love, for pleasure, is dependent on how someone else feels about you, as opposed to how you feel about yourself. And the potential that you have here, it's a sense of, it's almost as if you could do all these things simultaneously with this movement. If this is an individual who is dealing with sadness, upset in one area of their life, or even in their love life, and still trying to formulate something with you. It is a sense of these things all happen at the same time, and so hence that need to kind of maneuver and kind of create the right flow. So Libra, I'm going to pull some oracle cards for thoughts and feelings from either a current love interest or future love interest, depending on your situation. You have this soul family here. So if there are opportunities to kind of meet people through like friends of friends, it's a sense of that kind of it's meant to be. And it's almost a sense that even if things don't end up romantic, this is someone that could be like a really good, lifelong friend. You have this weight. So I made that comment. No one likes, you need to wait. But there it is. And then you have winter. Well, maybe there is an indication of when things might, when the waiting might need to end. So Libra, I'm hoping that this gives you a helpful perspective of love for you in September. To uncover more about your month, check out readings for your sun, moon, and rising signs. And we'll see you next time. Take care.